Well, hello and welcome to Radiant Spirit. It is a podcast about sobriety, self-love, living your best life, and really just learning how to tune into your most authentic self and live as your most authentic self. I am Jennifer Gibbons, and I have been doing Radiant Spirit in a different format for uh, going on a couple of years now. This started, I want to say, back in 2021, mid-pandemic. And this began as leading guided meditations over Zoom for an hour a week. Oftentimes with a lot of friends I just met in recovery. We all were on Zoom together all the time. And I was getting an opportunity to lead guided meditations outside of that and thought, well, let's bring it to Zoom for all these friends that I have all over the place since I live in kind of a small area. So let's reach as many people as possible, you know? So that's where this began. And we would just like do some grounding, touching in, and meditate for about 40, 45 minutes, then open the floor to have a judgment free, safe space to discuss whatever is going on in our life that we are having a hard time with, whether it be outside issues in the world, coworkers, family. Let's face it, we were all on lockdown with a lot of people that maybe we weren't vibing with. Lots of shit was coming up, right? So, these conversations that came up of just this open, safe space of people to really get out what's on their heart without that feeling of judgment, where we could really look at that and kind of ask those questions and kind of get an outsider's perspective of okay, what does it look like to approach this situation with love? Now, oftentimes we think that that means you've got to always be kind, warm, squishy, kind, but that's not necessarily what love means. Love, first and foremost, starts right here within yourself. And more often than not, when there is something going on in the world that you have zero control over, like things happening in our world that yeah, your votes don't necessarily feel like they're counting. Yeah, like it hits hard and it is hard to navigate in this world with that love. And we often end up turning it and internalizing those feelings and beating ourselves up instead of loving ourselves and just being able to nurture ourselves. So I like honesty is really where it all comes down to. How are we being honest with what our heart, with what is sitting in our bodies when we are taught so many things by this world that we are meant to respond in a certain way that's going to make those around us more comfortable? It's just doing more damage to ourselves. And oftentimes we have this misconception that by being honest, oh, if I'm honest with how I'm feeling right here, um and and not just like doing something or going through with something that or reacting in a way that is really doing more harm and does not feel authentic, does not feel genuine in your heart. We're doing the good thing, we're being nice, we're being kind, when in fact we're just doing damage to ourselves. So learning how to be super honest with our heart, with ourselves, and still be kind with how we navigate in the outside world, it is a tricky balancing act. And I'm a firm believer, though, that being honest with ourselves, being true to our heart, doesn't need to be mean. That is a huge misconception, and it is oftentimes I feel, or what I've seen, but in recovery is, which going through recovery, if you're someone who's gone through that journey, you know that rigorous honesty is huge, always talked about, right? Super important. You've got to be honest with yourself first and foremost. So, but that doesn't always have to be mean. Well, I feel like sometimes that's taken as a green light to just be an asshole to people. um, and sometimes you do need to be firm. Sometimes it does look like you're being an asshole just by being firm and being genuine to yourself. But you know what? That's okay. So, this podcast, Evolving Radiant Spirit to this format, I'm doing this in the hopes of sharing these ideas with more people, maybe opening up more discussion on what it looks like to be rigorously honest and honestly in love, fucking in love with ourselves. It takes a lot of practice. There are so many different tools, or as I like to call them, jewels in my jewelry box that I've picked up along the way that I really want to share because these have been such a game changer for me. In fact, when I began this journey that started off as just like meditations. And really, at the beginning, I was taking these meditation classes and then was asked to fill in. And I was like, first off, you've heard me talk, right? I don't know if this is a good idea, but it turned out to be the best thing that I could have ever had happen in my life, and really opened up new a whole new world for me, and really taught me, like I said, those jewels in my jewelry box that have helped me to learn how to genuinely love myself, like love the shit out of myself. And so it seems like it's been such a long journey, but really 2021, that was not that long ago. I got sober in 2020. Yes, during a pandemic. Holy shit, that's amazing. But it wasn't until about a year later that I genuinely started to learn these little tricks of actually loving myself. A lot of what I picked up in the program was more, not that the program is designed to not do that, but oftentimes there is a lot of simmering in what is wrong with me, all of my character defects, if you will, when in fact, my character defects are often just the trauma that I'm responding to that are the lessons that I'm here to learn. I mean, we are all spiritual beings, and we chose to come to this plane of existence in these human forms to learn these lessons. Some of us have chosen some doozy of lessons to learn. And as far as I'm concerned, the more of these crazy ass lessons that are coming into your life, the more of a badass I think you are personally. I and not that you need these crazy things to be a badass. Like if you're working on yourself, you're here, you're learning how to love yourself, you're a fucking badass. I'm so glad you're here. Um because what a freaking crazy journey we are all on, this human experience, particularly right now, this awakening that is happening in this world where people are becoming extremely self-aware. um, Humanity is evolving, and we need support. We need to be talking about this instead of being gaslit by a lot of society. I know oftentimes I feel that way amongst like my family, for example, like, oh, she's just the weird one. When I'm like, God damn, I wish you could all just see the vibrations I'm talking about, but I need to understand not everybody can see these vibrations. And that is a special gift. I'm sure I'll be talking more about that because it is a very real thing in my life. And it's how I am learning to discern what situations are for me and what are not. Exactly what the whole saying of you vibe to find your tribe, right? Well, being in that most authentic vibration is what is so important for you to find your peeps, find your tribe, find those people that are going to love you and support you no matter what. And that's what this is all about. We were not necessarily born into families that are going to understand this. So, um, yeah, as far as like what I can share, there's going to be, I'm hoping a lot. I am doing my best not to put any expectations on what Radiant Spirit is going to continue to evolve to be. Because 2 years ago, I would have never imagined I'd be sitting right here doing a podcast. Um, so far, what I know about it, we are going to be, like I said, talking about real stories and real tools, tricks, jewels in my jewelry box that have helped me learn how to love myself. I'm also going to be sharing my own juicy story, which is pretty juicy. Like, I needed to be bitch slapped by the universe to wake the fuck up, get sober, and get my head on straight. Because the fact is my guides were trying to come through so hard, and I was just like numb, 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 drink the pain away and ignoring these messages that were coming through. So if I can help anybody else, just one person, learn how to get in tune with your guides. We all are surrounded by so many guides. We all have freaking spirit teams having our back right now. It's just a matter of learning how to connect with them, and they're wanting to connect with us. So anything I can share to make that a reality for someone else, I'm all for it. All for it. And I'm also super excited that we are going to be able to listen to all sorts of new beats by MC Yogi. Freaking love, love, love. Conscious beats. As somebody who grew up in the 90s listening to hip hop and R&B, those were my jams. You know, the lyrics maybe not the most uplifting, although sometimes when I am getting down and I'm like really getting down with my spiritual practice, you bet 50 Cent is making his little way in my jams for sure, but conscious beats, what a great way to like have those same beats, really get my body moving, but with just a higher vibration. Freaking rad. So I'm stoked that Nick MC Yogi has given me permission to use his music. Love that. Um, let's see. Oh, also, so Radiant Spirit, where this evolved from those guided meditations. If you want to see what those are, if you want to know what I'm talking about, there is tons of free content out there on my website. It is embracelove.life. That's embrace love, all one word, .life. And if you go under the videos section, you will see so much content. There is by both myself and my partner, Matt Bussey. We have been putting out as much content as we can like really wrap ourselves around, just doing guided journeys, short meditations, all centered around the heart chakra, opening your heart center, learning how to listen to what your heart is really trying to tell you, because your heart is always trying to talk to you. So just learning how to listen to it. And yeah, I'm excited. We do have some interviews lined up. I'm going to be talking with people about their sobriety and spiritual awakenings, which in my experience very much goes hand in hand. Although I like to joke for myself personally, the spiritual awakening happened first, and that is what got me sober. Understanding that, oh, I can talk to these guides if I just keep my head clear. So that was a huge game changer for me. It was later down the road that I learned I needed to. I was kind of the universe forced me to do the work, look at myself honestly, and really get those tools, those jewels in my jewelry box to just be a better version of myself. So, and constantly growing, constantly changing. That is what it is all about, and that is what I really want to highlight and celebrate. The whole purpose of Radiant Spirit. Um, let's get in touch with ourselves. Let's learn what our authentic self is really wanting to come through as. Let's do it, because we are all so unique and beautiful and magnificent. Like all of our energies coming together is just this beautiful kaleidoscope of it's seemingly chaos, but it's so freaking beautiful. And there is a rhyme and a reason to it all. We are supposed to be unique. We are supposed to be different. We are not supposed to be fitting into this mold that we perceive the world wants us to fit into. That's all nonsense. It's bullshit, all of it. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in so we can squash those ideas. I'm hoping that we'll be talking about different modalities of healing. Myself personally, I am a clinically certified herbalist. I'm also a Reiki master and getting into sound healing, which is super fun, and as well mindfulness with leading guided meditations. So all sorts of branches of the healing tree, and I expect they're just going to keep going. Keep growing, keep glowing. So, like I said, check out the website, embracelove.life, under the videos section if you're looking for guided meditations. I believe they range anywhere from 6 minutes to an hour. And if you want to see those full Zoom calls, although when other people were sharing personal stories, those have been edited out. So, but here going forward as a podcast, I'm going to see where this goes. I'm hoping to open the floor to questions so that we can discuss different things going on in the world, different areas that we might be struggling to shine love and light on, and what that looks like. I'm hoping also that my partner will be joining me for a lot of these episodes. He certainly has a lot of knowledge to bring to the table with his PhD, as well as 10 years studying as a tantric Buddhist monk. So he's got a lot of different views to bring to the table, whereas me, I am a felon on probation, and I've got a more a darker color in in my backstory, but just more to overcome, right? No shame in that game. There is absolutely no shame in that game. No shame in your game, my game, or anyone's, despite what our world is trying to tell us. So, um, let's see if there's anything else to add to this. Yeah, thank you for listening to my introduction, and I'm excited to see where this is going to be going. So tune in wherever you stream your podcasts. And again, check out the website, embracelove.life. I will be posting these episodes there as well, and on YouTube. So, yeah, buckle up, hold on, and let's glow.